Welcome to another episode of Everybody's Got Something. I'm your host, Seth Hoffman. Today on the show, we have visual artist Jade Leyva. Let's get into it and have a good time. All right. Well, Jade, it is a pleasure to be sitting next to you, and it was an absolute treat yesterday getting to visit your studio, and we are so blessed to have this desk probably looking more beautiful than it has ever looked. But welcome, and why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you, Seth. It was really fun to have you at our place yesterday and that you get to see my studio. I really appreciate you brought your beautiful son. That was really nice. And it was a good experience to have you there. We're admirers of your work, also of your music.
Thank you.
And just to share a little bit about me, I really appreciate you having me in your show.
Oh my gosh, I'm the honored one.
Thank you. I am an artist from Mexico. I was born and raised in Mexico City. I lived in different areas of Mexico also throughout my life. I've lived in Guadalajara, in Sonora as well, which is where the ancient roots of my family comes from.
Okay.
My grandmother used to have a ranch there, so I lived there for a
kid. Which part of the country?
It was 45 minutes south of the border with Arizona.
Oh, wow.
So it's the border town. It was like a border town, pretty close to the border, but that's a place where I lived in.
And that's where you came into the world? That's where you're chapter one of?
Well, actually, Mexico City first.
Okay, so that's where you were born? Okay.
Mexico City first, and then we moved to Guadalajara when I was 4 years old. And then I lived.
Do you have memories of that time?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting. I remember a lot of things when I was a kid. I remember in Guadalajara was the place where I sold my first art piece.
Really?
When I was 5 years old, I made a little clown that could move its arms.
When you were how old?
Out of paper. I was 5 years old.
Wow,
and my neighbor saw it, and she was like, "Can I buy this?" I was like, "Sure." I think it was like 5 pesos or something like that. But I was very happy. That
sounds like a sign from God or something, like you are going to be a successful artist.
Yes, and I always was around art. Like my stepfather was an artist, and so was my mother. And a lot of my family members displayed some sort of artistic form, either music or art, painting. I have aunts that are all artists and cousins and stuff like that, but lots of musicians too. I grew up doing art, and in Guadalajara, I was able to spend time there when I was from 4 until I was 7, and then Sonora until I was 12, and then we moved back to Mexico City.
And you moved for your family had things to do, or what
Yeah,
inspired
my grandmother had a ranch with her brother in Sonora, and so my mother had a connection to her roots there, and so she talked my stepfather to move from Guadalajara to Sonora. And that was a very interesting time of our life because economically we didn't do very well because there was not a lot of work opportunity. My stepfather was an architect, and he didn't just get a lot of work. And my mother and him did a lot of serigraph printing. They were always doing art, and it was a very interesting time. I grew up in that area, like in the farm, climbing fruit trees and helping out with, like, when there was a harvest time, we'd harvest potatoes or onions. I had to walk a long ways to go to school. I had to walk maybe probably 3 or 4 miles to go to school.
Is that right? And did someone go with you, or just on your own, or with other classmates, or do you have siblings?
Yeah, I had friends. It was in a ranch area, so it was a rural area. So I had to pick up my friends at the ranch next door, and then walk over and then come back. I did that for several years, and so in my elementary school.
Do you have any memories of your teachers early on, or any of what school
Absolutely.
was like?
I just got in touch with my first art teacher that I had there. He was from Mexicali, and he was a really amazing rural teacher. It was a very small school. It was one classroom for the 6th grades.
Wow.
In the beginning, initially, and then when I went from, I think, in sixth grade, they opened up another classroom, so it was 3 grades and 3 grades in each classroom. But I just got a hold of my teacher from there because I actually wrote him thinking, I found him on Facebook, and I always thought, I just wrote him a message and said, I just wanted to thank you because he talked me and my sister into doing a statewide art competition.
Wow.
And he took us to the city where it was like a nearby, not city, it was like a town that was
Sure.
like they were having this competition.
Yeah.
And I did a pastel image of the ocean, and I got first place.
Incredible.
And my sister got second place.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you. And so I
amazing.
wrote him, and I couldn't believe it when I put his name on Facebook, and I was like, teacher, I just wanted to tell you that you made such a difference in my life.
Oh, that
It
must
was-
have blown his mind. He must have been like, Doctor, like what?
You know what was funny?
What's that?
Like he even like came to our house sometimes, you know, to eat and stuff. He got to know my parents and stuff like that, but he did not remember who I was.
Oh.
After all those years, I was like all excited that I found him, and that he had this that
He's
I
like,
had.
who are you?
Oh my God, I had this amazing thing. I won this competition, like statewide and everything,
Yeah.
about like paint, like it was a
Yeah.
landscape
Yeah,
painting
yeah.
thing, and he just made a difference. He was an incredible
amazing.
rural teacher.
Wow.
Yes, he poured his heart into it, and you know, he was probably just a person that was just kind of doing internship or something. He was pretty young.
Yeah, and he probably had no idea. He didn't even know how this day went, but what an impression and influence he had in your life.
Yes, I mean, because I was already around art all the time, and I think I probably won that competition because my stepdad would sit down with me a bit, and
Yeah.
he would be like, "This is how you draw a head," and this is how. He was very technical. My mom was more free. She was like, "Here are my materials. I'm painting right now. You do whatever
you
you
had the perfect
want."
teachers that you grew up.
Yeah.
Sounds
So so my teacher, I guess he probably saw that my sister and I had something going, and he's like, you guys should do this," and I remember in that school, like we had such a struggle financially during that period of time, to the point that I had to actually mend my shoes. Yeah, to be able to like go to school sometimes, because like they would get old, and I had to come up with creative ways so I could have shoes that were mended,
Yeah.
that I could actually walk on them without them
Goodness.
falling
and you
apart.
did quite a lot of walking. It's not like you just were wearing them just to go from this room to that room. You went miles a day. in those
Yes,
shoes.
and I feel like people hearing a story like that might feel maybe like pity or something like that. I feel like that period of my life was some of the happiest times of ever. Like
Yes.
I was so happy, you know, just like being able to have like the time of harvesting too, like spending time in nature, and having that vast desert, because it's the same desert as the one you see in Arizona. That's a Sonoran
Yes,
Desert.
yes, yes.
So there was those big saguaros around us, and there was like it was an oasis because there was this beautiful river that went through, and so there was all these farmlands next to
Yeah.
the river.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty cool time.
And it's interesting. Yesterday we were chatting a little bit about how you're saying that time of your life, it was not a financially easy time, but it was one of the happiest times, or if not the happiest time. And we're kind of trained to think, oh, we need to have X amount of dollars and this big of a house to feel happy. When obviously we see some people who are so rich that aren't necessarily happy, but to see what the true joy and fulfillment comes with experiences and just feelings.
Absolutely. I mean, my favorite thing was going and hanging out. There was like, the orchard was pretty big. There was like the orchard part, the bottom part of it was a whole orchard, and the upper part, it was sort of permaculture. There was like the upper level, they had corn, and they would plant different things. And the bottom part had all these different trees, and there were like plum, quince, apricot, peach, stuff like that, and like sour orange. There was one persimmon tree, and a grapefruit tree. And I remember like the grapefruit tree was the best because it was mature and it was beautiful. I was like a monkey. I could just like go up there and hang out. And I had
would
cousins.
you eat some of those?
Oh yeah, of course. When it was in season, I was the first one to be hired because I could get up to the upper branches and stuff like that. But yeah, I had cousins that lived there too. So my sister and I and my baby sister was living with us too. We had a small family, and then my stepfather and my mother separated, and we moved back to Mexico City.
And do you remember, was that traumatic? Was that just like, okay, this is what's happening now? What was that like
Absolutely
for you?
traumatic. I won't tell the details, but my mother and my stepfather, got in a fight, and we moved back to Mexico. My grandfather came and got us.
And do you remember, did it seem like it was something that was building up to that, or was it out of the blue, like, whoa, what just happened
No,
here?
it was building up for some time,
Yeah.
and it just one day blew up, and my stepdad came out and took us back to Mexico City when I was 12, and it was a really cool time. I mean, it's my city, you know, like I was born there,
Sure.
and then got back to it, and then living there through my teens. That was pretty cool. Just, you know, experiencing the arts, and I went to live with an aunt of mine when I was 14. I left home because I wasn't getting along with my mom, and so I left home and went to live with my aunt, her sister, Carmen.
Yeah.
And she had an art gallery, and she employed, like, a couple years I went to school, and then she employed me in her art gallery, which was really nice because her gallery was a pretty exclusive art gallery. She carried the works of the great masters of the 20th century of Mexican art, including Frida Kahlo, Diego Rivera, David Alfaro Siqueiros.
And this is like your first job, kind of?
Yes, Saturnino Herrán. I mean, all of the major masters, Maestro Francisco Toledo, who passed away in 2019. So yeah, it's just.
And what did you do in the gallery? Like, were you like helping like tell people about the paintings, or what was your?
I worked for her for 5 years, and I actually I started packing paintings because I had no idea. I mean, even though I grew up in a multicultural, very like well-bred family, and I grew up around art, I did not know a lot of the things that I was seeing. So I started packing paintings and sort of just whatever was needed there. And then I started like doing more, and then I started doing the photography. My boss, I had 3 bosses, my Aunt Carmen, another friend of hers, Mireya. She was amazing. She was a person that represented international conferences for rugs from the Middle East.
Okay.
She was very knowledgeable, so she gave like talks about that, and she was also knowledgeable.
Like in the gallery? Or
yeah,
just
in the gallery, and
so
also
it was,
like nationally.
It was like different types of events and presentations.
Yes, like nationally and internationally too. She was like an authority.
So you must have met probably a lot of people during that time.
Yes, and like her other partner was a person that was also a gallerist. And they hired me, and so I started doing all this basic stuff in the gallery, and like just long story short, I started doing more and more until I was like coordinating a lot of things for the gallery. I helped with the curation of the space, but it was a gallery that was not open to the public just because of it was high profile.
Yeah.
So we had a security person that stayed there at night, and also like there was a place where it was only like appointment only. And also my aunt like provided a lot of like courses. Like she would have people that were like writers, that like a person that came out that sticks out for me was a woman that saw Frida Kahlo when she was 3 years old, and she obsessed over it. She saw her, she's like, oh my, who's that? And she wrote a book about Frida that is called The Brush of Anguish. Her name is Marta Zamora, and she's still with us. She's pretty cool. And she would go in and give talks for clients. Like they would just provide this amazing stuff. And then my aunt, like they would not pay me a lot of money. Like I was making probably, for that time, it was like $150 a month. And even for that time, like 30 years ago, it's not a lot of money.
Sure.
It was actually, I would spend that money like in my transportation mostly. But I was grateful.
I mean, it sounds like it was like an incredible education. Like some people would pay so much money to go to some prestigious university to learn and get the experiences.
Yes, and one of the things is like I was very grateful with my aunt for taking me in and letting me live in her house. And also like that was my way of thanking her too. And also like they would feed me, and also like there was times where like, for instance, like the Museum of Modern Art would provide like a course in surrealism with Maestra Teresa del Conde. And that it would be like a very expensive course, and they would be like, would you like to take this course? And I'd be like, sure. I did not hesitate for one moment to always say yes to those courses, and it happened pretty often. So I had a lot of schooling that way. I'm not trained in university or in college, but I felt that was a really good thing for me. I got to understand Mexican art era really well, which is, to me, is the best. Not to like offend anybody in today's
I mean, that's what
world
speaks to you and inspires
of the
you.
art, but I feel like the Mexico Renaissance that happened in the 20th century with all of those guys. With
And what to you stands out about it? What is special about it for
about
you?
that?
Yeah.
Before that time, before the Mexican Renaissance, it was like in the 1800s specifically, like there was a big pull for being able to, like people in the government and also like the culture itself looked very much to Europe. It was a very European culture. Mexico, in the independence time was in the beginning of the 1800s. So it was very Spanish still. It had a lot of, you might say, like Italian people would come out and teach Mexican painters like Jose Maria Velasco. They painted very European stylistic sort of thing, and it was like the architecture. If you go to Mexico City, like you can see, like you're in downtown and you're like, am I in Europe? It's a very European place. It's a colonialized place. So there's a lot of it's on your face, but also there was a time in which there was a printmaker at the end of the 1800s who was very very instrumental in creating the Mexican Renaissance, and he is until this day not recognized that he should be. His name is Jose Guadalupe Posada, and he was the person that he worked for with the family Vanegas Arroyo in Mexico City with a political newspaper, and he did the illustrations. So he did etchings that were, he was mocking the aristocracy, specifically Porfirio Diaz, who was a dictator that was there for 30 years. And he was very he would powder his face so he would look lighter. He was very he was a big fan of France. So a lot of the things that he built during that period were very French. And so he was there was the gap between the aristocracy and the poor was very vivid. So Posadas created this like what you know now as Day of the Dead art. He's the one that started that. He painted the aristocrats having a glass of wine, but they would be skeletons, they're dead people. He was actually mocking them. That's how that started, and then he started evolving more, and these were etchings that he was doing. He was a master. He was amazing. And so after that, he was actually also taking from the Mexican culture, the Aztecs and people that if you go to the museums in Mexico City, you can see there's a lot of skulls, there's skulls carved on stone. There's it's something that was not taboo for the ancient people of Mexico. It was something that we all have in us. So it was created in art as well, and so Posadas kind of tapped into that as well. So it was a sort of a mestizo mix, a mix of European and Mexican, and started creating this fusion of the two. And that's when other artists started feeling we have this thing that is so rich that we're actually denying of ourselves. And so Diego Rivera tapped into it. He started depicting a lot of the murals in Mexico City and abroad. Here in the US too, you can see some of his murals. So the Mexican government sent him to Italy to be able to learn the fresco techniques there for 10 years. They subsidized him, so he could learn the techniques of Michelangelo. So those are actually my work. People tell me, oh, your work looks like Frida's, which it doesn't look like Frida Kahlo's. It's maybe she used a lot of cultural elements, but to me, Diego is more of an inspiration to me. Because, I have family members that saw him, painting in his murals, and just seeing his murals living in Mexico City, just your jaw drops really when you see his work. It's just incredible. I mean, I look up to him so much as an artist, not so much as a person.
Seems like there's so many, across genres, whether art or this, some people to separate the gifts that someone had with necessarily, the way they handled their personal life or something like that. And some people think, oh, well, if someone did something bad, I won't listen to their music or see their art. But I think it's important to be able to separate, some of these things, to appreciate his influence and what he did, and that doesn't mean you're like, oh, he's the best guy who ever lived, or the best husband or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely one of the best artists Mexico gave.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna discount those other ones.
Yeah.
Ramos Martinez, Saturnino Ran, David Alfaro Siqueiros, Rufino Tamayo. There's all these incredible artists. Juan O'Gorman, who was a personal friend of Diego's, he helped him build an Nauacali museum, which is a pretty. The Diego Rivera Museum they built it out of volcanic rock. Wow. It's amazing. If you go to Mexico City, you gotta see that.
I plan to.
Mexico City has a very deep culture of art, but it's like so in your face that you can't avoid it anywhere you go. In the markets, you can there's 151 museums. I always spend time doing. Going to places and just seeing things. I still do. We go there once or twice a year. We go to celebrate my husband's birthday typically every year. He loves Mexico City, but you can find street theater on the streets. You can find.
And what do you think it is about the culture that kind of embraces and celebrates the art in such a way? Because it's obviously it's not like that everywhere. And just when I think of Mexico and the art, the vibrant colors, and is there something from the culture you think that is connected to that I don't know, kind of honors and celebrates it like that?
I feel like Mexico has such an interesting thing because you have the indigenous cultures, which are very artistic, and every place. Mexico has 32 states. 32 states, 68 ethnic groups, all of them with their own language.
See, most people probably think, oh, Mexico? Spanish. That's what obviously it's so much richer than that.
Yeah, I mean, northern Mexico, you have Yaqui, you have Apache, you have Mayo, and among others, Seri. You have, in Chihuahua, right across the border, you have the people, the Tarahumara people, Raramuri. That's in the north. I mean, there's many different ones also in those same areas, but every area of Mexico has a different culinary experience. Every like the north from the south, the center Mexico, from the east of Mexico to the east, you have the deep Mayan culture, and it's different. Like the Mayan culture in Chiapas is not the same as the one in the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah.
It's like they even speak different versions of Mayan.
Yeah.
It's a very vast and very varied place. Like even in Oaxaca, you have Zapotec, you have Mixtec, you have Triqui, you have all these different cultures that are mixed. There's 8 different regions, and those regions have their own way of clothing, their own way of eating, their own art. Oaxaca is a very artistic state.
Is the kind of place in
sure.
Mexico the kind of place where you could conceivably take a crazy road trip and drive, or I don't know if it's safe or how big it is. I know some countries you can do that. Is that something you've done, or that?
Yeah, we love traveling in Mexico. I mean, I'm connected, and my husband, gratefully, he's from the New York area, so he's has that urban thing, and he goes to Mexico and he turns into a Mexican immediately. It's really cool, but we love traveling. Like we've been to many places. We've been to the coast areas in Jalisco. We've been to Colima. We have been to central Mexico, Oaxaca, Yucatan. I mean, we go to a lot of places. There's pockets, of course.
I want to try to plan my trip when you guys are going sometime.
Yes, I mean, it's a place. Mexico City is just very self. You can just go.
Yeah.
It's like a thing. You just go. There's, if you want to go outside of the city, you can take a tour or you can drive. Yeah. I've never felt threatened, but I can't say, that there's pockets in different areas. Sure. It's changing. Yeah. Like the culture
and the same people can oftentimes say, oh, to go to this country, but there's parts of every city in America are probably just as dangerous. Or that
there's parts of Mexico that are still, there's conflict, but it's I feel like there's a lot of people that are really afraid of traveling to Mexico as just a blanket statement.
Yeah, it's kind of got a taboo. It's kind of got this thing like, oh, you can't.
Yeah, we go there all the time, and I've never felt like everybody's living their own life. Everybody's going through their own thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like people miss out a lot. You miss out so much by
Yeah.
not going there, because Mexico is not only a place that has incredible culture, but there's this a sense of magic too, that nowhere else.
Yeah.
You cannot find that anywhere else. And it really, there's things that happen. For instance, like, can I tell you, share
Yes,
something
please.
with you?
Yes, please.
There's this picture here of the rooster. We were walking in a very busy place in Mexico City, near Chapultepec Park, very busy. There was like a sort of like a place where there was like a lot of cement, streets, cars, everything. And all of a sudden, there was from out of this like hole in the wall, this rooster walks out. And then he's just walking around, and like 4 chickens followed from like behind him. And so that's the sort of thing that you just don't know what's behind that wall.
You're like, how did that happen?
Yeah,
Like,
there's
what did I
probably
just
an
see?
indigenous family probably that lives back there, and it's like you just almost want to like jump that wall and go hang out with them, you know. And so he walked out, and he just kind of started circling me, and I just thought, I'm going to paint him. So it's called gallo espinado. So the espinado means like with thorns.
Yeah,
So prickly pear is a very cultural symbol of Mexico. You can find it in New Mexico too.
Yeah.
But nopales are actually something that is part of the diet in Mexico
Okay.
too. So I grew up eating prickly pear pads too. So that's something that I wanted to depict that in a way.
Beautiful.
That was fun.
Since we're talking about some of these paintings, any of these other ones that have a story or anything that you want to...
Well, I paint...
Maybe you could tell us actually... Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah,
but you were telling me a little bit about the significance of corn and how it appears a lot in your work. Maybe you can speak a little bit on
Sure.
that. I can set this one up.
Yes, so I have, there are several themes that take place in my work, and it's like they're recurring, and they are like, those themes are hearts, that's a mestizo sort of idea. Corn, which is part of my culture and is part of all indigenous cultures of the Americas, is actually a deep, and not only it's for food, but it's also like ceremonial. Corn is like, I just can't live without it. It's part of me, it's part of my flesh, part of my culture. And so it's something that really resonates with me, and I love painting it, just to like show like when you go to Mexico City, you can't help it, like it's everywhere. In the markets, in the ancient stone carvings. It's sort of like in northern Mexico, not so much. There's more like flour there. They make flour tortillas.
Oh yeah, you're telling me how those different
In northern
regions
Mexico, I think it probably has to do with the U.S. influence. But in Mexico, like in central Mexico and southern Mexico, is like corn is a huge part of the culture.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's not only part of the diet, but it's also part of it's a very deep. It's like part of who you are.
Yeah.
Like a part of an identity as people.
Yeah.
So that's the story on that. I wanted to paint. I loved it. Like I just had so much fun doing the basket.
Incredible. Beautiful.
Thank
it's like
you.
you can almost, it feels like you could reach out and feel the texture of it.
Thank you. You know, in Mexico City, you can actually, New Mexico is red or green.
Right.
In Mexico City, in the markets, it's like, do you want white or blue corn?
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's the question there.
Yeah, I'm always a blue corn person.
blue corn,
yeah,
okay.
because it's like the blue corn is my thing. I just love eating it, and I actually make my own here. I found a place to buy it bulk online, and corn that is like raised in Mexico. And so I find Oaxacan blue corn and white corn and yellow corn and red corn. And sometimes I make it from scratch. I sometimes buy the masa, like the powder, to make my tortillas, because I can't find any of that stuff here.
Like if I can't find it, I'm gonna make it.
I have to make it.
Wow.
So let me talk about this one.
Yes, please.
So this one is a mandala. With all due respect to the Tibetan monks, I'm not trying to steal any cultures or anything, but it's just I love creating mandalas because it's a way of you start at the center, and then everything evolves from there. You go out.
So when you created this, that's just how you started, just in that very center.
So that's how that, and the ideas start coming in as I go. But I've done a lot of them, and a lot of different ones, but this one is bees and love, and this is like, I'm just on this, like, I'm loving to do this, like, petate, like, petates is like the beautiful rugs that are woven out of palm in Mexico. So yeah, I'm having a blast doing that and that other painting as well. So, yeah.
Gorgeous.
So I love bees. Bees is part of a big part of my art too. Like maybe a lot of people that will see this will remember that I did multiple murals with seeds in our community in New Mexico. I went to 105 locations over 3.5 years pro bono to raise awareness about environmental things, including seed preservation for future generations, specifically corn.
Yes.
Like the ancient corn, and then also like I would invite people, like experts, to go in with me wherever I got invited. I went to like kindergartens, colleges. I went to like events, public events, Global Kirky, stuff like that. And so anyway, yeah, that was a really fun thing, and that's how I learned about bees, because one of the murals was done. Nine different local artists. I gave them a 3-foot hexagon. Just design your own bee, and I just gave them like a color scheme, and then the community would place the seeds.
Wow.
So yeah, over those years, we had an installation with all the murals. It was 10 of them. And then I gave them to public spaces throughout Albuquerque. So you can see one at the South Valley Economic Development Center. You have to kind of walk in. It's kind of like on the back of it. And then Valle del Oro Wildlife Refuge, the one for bees is there. And then the one, the open space on Course, that was for the forest. For our forests and how, to preserve forests and stuff like that.
When we put this on YouTube, on the video description, I'm going to have you tell me these, so people, when they see this video, they can go and find, if they want to go check these out.
Oh yeah, of course. And so that was a really beautiful thing that I did. And bees are such a big part of the environment, and people don't realize that spraying our gardens, because we say, oh yeah, like the big farm people that are spraying everything, but we are also like in the everyday things that we do, like all of this. That's something that it was like a blanket thing that I did with every mural, was like the impact that we have with the small things that we do as individuals for the environment can actually cause a great impact. For instance, for bees, like even though it's not a direct thing, not spraying our gardens is important, but also eating organic.
Okay.
Like eating organic food is like so important, because that way we create a bigger market for this. And so the farmers are more encouraged to grow in like holistic ways. So
it's hard to find nowadays. It's like you go to the store and everything, it's like whatever's been done to it, or what genetically modified, or what. So to have just pure organic food, it's a different experience eating it, and I'm sure in the growing process and what it does to the bees.
Yes, and for our bodies too. Yeah. And so it's completely connected. The pesticides go into the ground, and then they pollute. And also like we're eating that too, pollutes our bodies and kills the bees. So it's not sustainable.
I heard some statistic that like the number of bee population is some hugely decreased over the last number of years for these.
So so I learned a lot about bees. So they're recurring in my work too. That's something that I love. I love them. I just feel as long as I can hear bees, I know that everything will be okay, because they do sustain all life in the planet. So this piece, like the one, that one is also, it's got bees also. So this one, I paint braids quite a bit. And this piece has like all of these, I like to paint flying braids. Like it's just something that I do too. It's like another recurring thing. It's like you have the nopales, the flying braids. Sometimes I put the braids going out of the picture and then coming back in. And so just to leave to the imagination what happens out here. But yeah, this one is a girl that has her braids are flying, trying to feed the bees.
Beautiful. It's like it's become part of the plant.
Yes, and I like to paint them like this too, like they're peeking into the picture. I do that
It's like
often as well.
trying to reach the window or something. To
I do that sometimes in large format, sometimes in small format, but that's something that is also a staple of my work.
I like that. I like that.
Thank you. So yeah, I feel like we have so much, people that are creative, we have so much of almost like a responsibility. If you have a voice, if you have a platform, we can't ignore.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's one of the things that we sort of, I feel like, in my opinion, even though it's not on your face, I feel like we have a responsibility to create change. And throughout time, that's where artists are the ones that have created change over time.
Yes, I feel like if God or whoever created us planted the seed of this talent and the gift, not to keep it a secret, but to use it and to share it.
So yeah, this one here, it's a heart. Is very, the heart is actually, the flaming heart is a symbol of, it's a religious symbol in Mexico. I'm not a religious person, but it's a symbol of like sort of mestizo culture in Mexico. Like when the conquest happened, the Spanish brought their religion, and so like they had like a flaming heart of Jesus or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But Mexico took it to the next level, which is not a religious thing anymore, it's more artistic. So to me, every time I depict a heart, this is like a flaming heart, pseudo flaming heart, but it's sort of like to depict like the roots of love. And so for me, like hearts and flaming hearts are more of a sort of like love is where, like your heart, love resides in the heart, and so the flaming heart to me is love more than anything else, and so that this is like sort of like a flourishing love coming out of the heart.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I know a lot of artists paint hearts like this, and especially, you know, the people that are in folk arts and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's mainly, I wanted to share these pieces with you because I thought they were a nice size to bring into the studio.
Yeah, no, they're perfect. I mean, look at this desk. It shows the power of art, because we could be sitting at this desk and be fine and be a nice desk, but you can there's more than just paint here. There's like a spirit and a power.
Thank you.
And so yesterday I had the incredible pleasure of seeing where these are created in your studio, and so we're going to get to have a virtual tour and just a bit here of, here is, maybe you can talk us through what we're seeing here.
Outside of my studio, that door was given to me by a friend. It's pretty neat.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, this is my entering my studio. I have books and signs everywhere. This is my rack where I make my prints. And this is another rack where I have prints, and I still have some of the bins from Contemporary Hispanic Market that happened a couple weeks ago. I'm still unpacking. So you're gonna see some things around the studio that are from that. So that's one of my paintings of a mermaid with a cactus tail. This is my latest piece. So you can give a panning and see like all of the different things that I have in my studio. I love to have beautiful things around me. That's another one of my latest pieces.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I have different things that were gifts to me, and I just like to have them around so I can see them. That's also some of the things that I took to the market. These are 2 paper mache skeletons that my mother made.
Shane was enjoying playing with them, or seeing them yesterday. This
is actually pottery recreations made by my art mentor, Bill Freeman. He was a pretty amazing guy. He did pottery restoration too, and these are replicas. Yeah, like I said, I like to have beautiful textiles and beautiful things to look at. Yeah, I love textiles from Mexico very much. Those are some of my mom's art on the right.
How special to have your mother's art. Right.
That was a sign.
Please remove your clothes.
Just to give it a little bit of humor.
I like that.
Yeah, that was a award I got in 2017 at the Albuquerque Museum.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Thank you. Those are 2 pieces by my mother. Yeah, she was her style was pretty cool.
Yeah.
These are many things these little things that I have. I made the crow sculpture there. Guy sitting, the woman that is sitting with her hand extended, I made that. I made those paper mache figurines. I used to do that in Mexico to supplement my living. Yeah, the painting on the top too, I made that. Yeah, I like doing sculpture, paper mache. Like I know a lot of different mediums, but one day I made up my mind to be able to just be a painter.
But I'm sure all those other things you've done have contributed to what you do.
Yeah, that's my wacky palette. Like, I don't know how I keep it together. Yeah, those are my brushes and my husband and I on the back.
Beautiful.
There's a nice photo that our friend Jim Holbrook took.
Beautiful couple. Beware of attacker artists. I know, I saw that. I said, ooh, I better.
That's a dragon made by Sonne Bertland, who was a very prolific local artist too. She passed away. Yeah, those are more mandalas, like I was saying before. And this is a monarch butterfly lady of my migration series. Yeah, you can see the braids again playing around.
Yeah, it's so playful.
Yeah, that also from the migration series. Yeah, you can see how like the recurring themes are there.
Yes.
So much. Yeah, she's holding a Colima dog. That was the poster for Global Kirky I did.
Awesome. We love Global
For last year's Global Kirky, which my husband produced.
Yes. We'll have to have him on the show sometime. And
that would be
about
great.
all of that.
And you're going to see some of the pieces that I showed you here.
And so it's because so many of the ones you brought were ones that I was so captivated with. That's almost like you read my mind. I wanted to ask you about these.
Yeah, so I have this cool like railing system in my studio, so I can hang from the ceiling, from the railing, so I'm not putting like holes on the wall.
Nice.
That was one print. I'm dabbling on printmaking. I did we can talk about that if you want. I did an art residency in Oaxaca in 2023 with Maestro Enrique Flores, who passed away, unfortunately, a month ago. Yes, unexpectedly.
May his memory be blessed and all.
Yes. So yeah, see, like they're picking too. That was what I was telling you, that I like to have them women picking into the picture.
They would have made into the painting if they were just a little taller.
This is my latest piece. She's called La Reina de Mexico.
That's incredible. I love that one.
Thank you. These are just smaller pieces. I sold a lot of work at contemporary Hispanic markets, so I think that I had a few to show you, but I was very happy that I had a successful market.
I'm so glad, and rightly so. I'm sure you are brightening many people's space with your work for them to have that.
Yeah, so these are smaller pieces that I do. This is a cool mermaid. I like painting mermaids too, and they're just magical creatures. They're called tlanchanas. And yeah, so I painted it with a cactus tail. Nothing really happens planned in a lot of the paintings that I do. It's mostly, unless it's like a commission and I'm talking to a client. Sure. But it's a lot of these things that you see, they just happen in the moment.
It's like when you're starting a painting, you don't know.
No.
It's just, let's just see what happens.
Yes, and there's not two alike, but a lot of times you can see the elements that kind of, they're similar, but it's never the same.
Yes. So speaking of the market, I wonder if you can tell a little bit about the business side of it, because of course there's many artists out there who that's the part of it that doesn't always come easy. They don't understand, and it's something that it took you years to kind of get an understanding of. I don't know if you could just kind of speak on that.
Yes, I mean, once you find your style, for me it was 9 years of understanding and doing many different mediums. Once I decided that I want to do this for a living, I was, very serious, and I was doing all different kinds of art. I did sculpture, I did all kinds of things. And then when I found my style, it was 20 years ago, I was like, I really made up my mind about doing this. And my art mentor, Bill, my friend Bill, he told me, if you work for yourself as hard as you work for others,
Yeah.
you will succeed. There is no way around it. Like you can put the same energy into it.
And it's so funny you say, because often we're the first easiest person to let down is ourselves. It's like, okay, well, I guess that gets, but to treat it like, okay, I'm going to treat this as if it's a responsibility for someone else, and then suddenly you can achieve something.
Yes, I mean, you have to be serious, first of all, and you also have to practice to become good, and also like give value to your work as well.
Yeah.
Like I was mentioning yesterday, the instance, like the first time I had a little studio in Bernalillo with a friend of mine. She was a beadwork artist, the finest. She actually shows at the IAIA in Santa Fe. And we shared 8 months the studio space, and that's where I found my style and everything.
Okay.
And we had an art show, and it was like one of my first art shows. I had like little ones that with other things, I was doing photography and all this stuff, but with my current work, I wasn't, when I found my style, I hadn't had one. So there was a woman that I knew, and she came into the studio, like we had a display, and I said, okay, I'm gonna put this high price on my like what felt right to me.
Yeah.
Because I spent all this time, I created the texture, there was like, I created the frame, everything, and I said, okay, is it okay if I mention pricing?
Yes,
Yeah?
definitely.
Okay.
Please.
So yeah, I said, okay, for me, I was like 29 or 30 years old, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna save $1,500 on this, and
prior to that, what was the pricing?
I just didn't.
You didn't think about it?
No, I was just, it was just just whatever. It wasn't. I wasn't thinking very much, but that was kind of like my gauge.
Yeah.
Like I put it on there, and I said to my friend Marguerite, let's see what happens. And our friend Julia came out, and she was like, I want that immediately. She walked in there and she said, I want that. And I said, I almost stopped her. Like I was still emerging. I was like, not very good at the business side of it. And I said, but Julia, did you look at the price on this?
Are you sure you want to do this?
Did you look at the price? She's like, yes, and I want it.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, awesome. And then another friend bought more paintings, and so it started snowballing from there. And so I understood. And also like throughout, I had a mentorship with my friend Bill Freeman. For 12 years. I spent time doing pottery restoration, and also he was doing his thing, but also I was experimenting. But I had like with the pottery stuff, but that was his thing, I didn't feel like I can do pottery, but it just didn't feel like it was my thing. So I started. I wanted to be a painter, and so I started experimenting more and just sort of making paintings. And I remember like he would tell his friends, sometimes he'd call his friends or friends that were there too, because he had like people living there too, like other friends that would come in and stay there and live there too. And he'd be like, oh my God, Jade uses the paint straight out of the tube. He'd say that. And he was a very incredibly intelligent man.
So meaning it's that like instead of putting it in
like mixing it, because he was a Western artist,
Okay,
so very muted, very like landscape, very like classic. And he couldn't believe that I was just painting with the paint straight out of the tube, because that's what I grew up seeing in Mexico, bright colors, and it's like that. Mexico is all about color. And so he was like very impressed, and so I would watch him and his friends too. He had friends that were around that became close to me too. And so they were all making a living with their work. Wow. And so I was watching them that they weren't shy. They were saying, they showed in galleries. I did a show in Arizona called Celebration of Fine Art. Like I applied for it. It was very expensive. But I got in, and then I said, okay. And it was a 3-month process that you had to like talk to people, make it like your studio. And it was 100 different artists doing the same thing. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just do it. And that got me very comfortable, like as far as like talking about my work and my process, and being able to charge for my work too, because that's the one part that a lot of artists are so shy about. They
Yeah.
feel like because this comes easy to them,
Right. It's because they enjoy doing it. How can I charge for something that I like to do? So it's right.
like with musicians, you know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a thing that because your work. This is something my stepson is also an artist. He's a printmaker, and he also studied graphic design at MICA in Baltimore, and he's out there. But like something, he was always an artist since he was a kid before I came along. But it's something that I never like pushed my ways of creating art on him, even though sometimes he'd paint with me.
Yeah.
You know, he'd have access to my stuff, and
Yeah, yeah.
but sometimes we created a couple pieces together, you know,
Yeah,
just for
yeah,
fun.
sure.
But I never wanted to like push my actual techniques on him or anything like that, unless he asked.
Yeah, sure.
And then like the business side of it, I felt like it was very important to share, and something that I always tell him is, do not undersell yourself, and no, it's not like. I feel that artists feel like they betray themselves, or it's like dishonest
Yeah.
to take money for their work.
Right.
And I feel, for me, in my mind, there is nothing more honest than creating a living with what you do.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that, like, I have seen it. My mom was she was very shy. She did not like, she kept every piece she ever made. You know, and so like I feel like a lot of times it's very important to like honor your work and also like don't undersell your work, because sometimes like you would say, oh, I have this piece and I'm gonna sell it, and then you really either need the money or you need to like, or you really want to close like a purchase, or you know, and you don't know what to do, and then you end up like saying 50% less than what you would have charged because you're nervous in the moment and everything. So I feel like that is later on when that it's happened to me a long time ago, not anymore. But like you turn around and you feel regretful, and you're like, I cannot believe I did that. Oh my God! And then the person that does that to you, like when they're purchasing a piece of art from you, it's almost like feels. I don't know. It's like a very interesting dynamic. I feel like people respect you more when they value your work more, and also you have a responsibility to people who have purchased your work before too, for like what it is, you know, for like acquired your work. Like you have collectors.
Sure.
I have collectors that have paid a lot of money for my work, and I'm not gonna go around and sell it for less because
that's a good point.
You know, so like you once you reach a market value, you're supposed to stay there and go up from there. And so that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of artists. It would be very. I mean, anytime anybody would like for me to get on a call, or I always tell people I can teach you that part very easily. I have a way
I think people could really benefit. I'm sure there's people. I know many artists who. That's the area they're like, how do I get to that place, or how do I talk to people, or how do I, you know, properly value what I'm creating?
Yeah, and one thing I think there's a fine line, Seth, too, like about like when I share all of that, like right now, I don't want to sound anything like I don't like artists that are very like they feel that they're above or like they're, you know, I really want to come from a humble place, because a lot of times I feel like a lot of artists have an ego, you know, and like when I speak about like my work or like the value or showing in galleries or doing museum stuff, you know, it comes from like the humblest of ways, because I feel like a lot of people that know my work in New Mexico and abroad and in different places, they see that my work has sold around the world. They see that I can, you know, that I can talk about my work, that I do exhibits, that I'm comfortable doing what I do, and they've watched me over the years grow. But it has not been easy. You know, that's one of the things that people think, oh, it's easy for her, you know, like, oh, it has been so good for you, it has been so easy. No, it has not been easy. It's been, a lot of times it's like an uphill battle. You have a lot of cliquiness in the cultural atmosphere in New Mexico. Is very hard to break through. So that really has pushed me. I have had a lot of people that have supported me. You know, I have to admit that, of course. You know, like I have had awards and I have had galleries that have gotten what I do. I have shown on Canyon Road. That gallery was awesome. I showed with Tortuga Gallery. My friend Sara, I had my first studio in Bernalillo. You know, I feel like there's a lot of people that have believed in myself. All of my collectors, my friend Phil, my friend Julie, now they're friends, you know, but they started as collectors. And I have my friend Cynthia, I have people, I call them friends, but a lot of them started as collectors. And, you know, over time, you know, we became close friends. And I have things like that, but I feel like a lot of times people don't realize what it is to like create a living with yourself, you know, with being your own boss. You have to take it as serious as if you would any other job. You have to work often. You can't be lazy.
Do you have a kind of like a scheduled routine, kind of like, okay, by, you know, since there's not a boss saying, okay, get started, do you kind of, I guess you're your own boss, but do you have something like that, like a daily regiment, or how do you stay focused, I guess?
Yes, it helps when I have deadlines. So the fall looks busier for me. So it's when I'm most productive, which that's not a good thing. I should be more productive when it's slow. Because that's one of the things that artists don't realize. Like I used to get depressed, like when I didn't get, like when I wasn't selling work and I wasn't creating an income because we have our mortgage, you know, we have all the bills and everything. So I remember like in the slow times, it was like something that I felt like, oh my God, I would get like a little desperate, and I'm sure it happens to everybody. It's a thing that is like, okay, I'm gonna have to go get a regular job. You know, and so that's one of the things, that is the time that you should create. That is it, like the universe is giving you the moment to create your work and to be able to be creative in a space of mind that you don't have anything going on, so you can actually have the mind space to create. And so anyway, so that's one of the things that I feel like, you know, like for many artists to understand that the slow times create a good volume of work. And then when the busy time starts, you're ready. You're ready for it. And so yes, I do have times, you know, like I like to work constantly, always having new work.
Do you tend to work more in the morning, afternoon? Is there a time of day that
after breakfast? You know, and we like weekends. My husband and I like to have weekends for each other, or to, you know, for friends and stuff like that. But so that's the thing that I, you know, being constant. Like if I could give a humble like advice to anyone that is creative, to be to be, you know, being constant is like a thing, because that's how you become better at what you do. It can be in music. You cannot play a solo in a guitar if you don't practice for years. So you have to like be able to become good at your craft, and also participate in art shows. Talk to galleries, never be shy to talk about your work, and also being confident but not condescending. You know, it's very important to come from a humble place, and like I feel like that's something that has served me, and I have created a lot of opportunity for myself, and so never being afraid of creating new things. Kind of going with the flow, inviting other artists to collaborate with you, creating collectives is very important too. Younger people do that. It's pretty cool. You know, I'm 50 now. I just turned 50, and I have to say that I'm grateful to the community in New Mexico for their support, and for Contemporary Hispanic Market has been amazing. I have won many awards there, and they have been so welcoming. It's an artist-run market. And I feel that is a really cool thing to participate in. So yeah, I'm grateful overall for like a lot of the things that I have created, a lot of the galleries that have invited me to do things, and I feel there is no place like New Mexico to be in if you're a creative person.
I agree 100%. I feel so blessed to be in our beautiful New Mexico, and I want to thank you for sharing this advice, which I'm taking mental notes as a musical artist myself, because of course that's, you know, we always want to move forward. And to anyone out there who is however long they've been doing art, but this is important stuff to hear and to get, your work into the world. And so thank you for sharing that wisdom and for sharing your story and your time. And you have such a gift. You have a gift and you give a gift, and which is, I think, the best way to be in this world. So
Thank you.
I just want to from the bottom of my heart, thank you for just a pleasure to know you and to hear this, and hope to continue to follow your work, and may it be blessed and spread far and wide. And you are just a true treasure. And
Thank you.
It's been wonderful to be with you today.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Seth. And the last thing I would like to say is never too early or too late.
Yes.
Never wait to explore your creative side.
I love it. All right, words to live by. This has been Jade Leyva, and we hope to see you all many, many more times. And blessings to you and your family and all you create.
Thank you. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Everybody's got something that nobody else has got. Everybody.